Hi guys, welcome to Sherson Lian TV. Thanks for dropping by. This is part 2 of my 2020 Christmas special. For this episode, we're making Salmon Wellington and serving it together with a nice Christmas salad. So first off, what we got to do is preheat our oven. Now, while I do this, why don't you go ahead and click the subscribe button so you know when part 3 is out. Okay, I've preheated the oven to 230 degrees. It's important before we put the salmon in, the oven has reached that temperature so that it can start cooking straight away. Now, pan. First off, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making this nice filling to go together with the Salmon Wellington. Okay, olive oil, garlic in, onions. So we're going to let this slowly sweat away and release all that wonderful flavor and aromas before we add in the mushrooms. All right, so while this is sauteing away, I'm going to prepare my pecan nuts. So I'm just going to roughly cut these pecan nuts so it has a certain texture. And the reason why I'm adding a nut in here is because puff pastry, soft, you've got a nice crisp, very fluffy, salmon, soft texture. So with a bit of nut in there, it sort of gives that variety of texture. So now this is nice and translucent, the onions. We're going to add in the mushrooms. All right, so this is fantastic. Now, I'm using a Lebenster Collection Professional hob that comes with 6 high-powered burners that gives you different flame output. Now, this allows you to do multiple cooking, especially when you're cooking for a big family or you've got guests. It really cuts short your cooking time. Now, this multi-jet burners also distribute even flame. When you have even flame, it's crucial for even cooking. Now, mushrooms are done. I'm going to add in my spinach. We're going to be wilting the spinach. And as I've just put in the spinach, I'm also going to be adding in some chestnuts. This is going to give it the nice earthy flavor. Chestnuts in as well. Again, I've just cut them nice and chunky. You don't want to overcook the spinach, so this is done. Now we add in the nuts. Basil goes in. Now, cream cheese. And with the heat of the pan, it's going to melt down the cream cheese and allow everything to sort of come together. So this is going to be our filling for the Salmon Wellington. Now to season this, I'm adding some black pepper. Finally, for savoriness, I'm adding in some Parmesan cheese. I'm going to mix this nice and well. Give it a little taste. Jingle bells, jingle bells, jingle bell rock. So good. The filling is done. Now what we're going to start doing is we're going to start working to wrap our salmon. Here I have a beautiful fillet of salmon, and I've also removed the skin because you don't want soggy salmon skin inside a Wellington. So we have here a puff pastry, which I'm just going to gently roll out. We're going to need just enough to wrap the salmon. Okay, so I reckon about this much is good. Trim off, there we go. To make it easier for me to work with this, I'm just gonna dust the board so that nothing sticks. There we go. Remove gently the plastic that's beneath it. There we go. Now, if you can't get puff pastry that comes in a roll like this, you can overlay the puff pastry and just roll the part where you overlay down. So that way it sort of incorporates and becomes one big sheet. Now what we're gonna do is, we're gonna lay the salmon down. There we go. We're gonna season the salmon with a bit of salt and black pepper. Okay? Now, I've got an egg that we're gonna create this nice, beautiful egg wash. Beat the egg. I'm just gonna add a splash of water. This is just to loosen up the egg so it doesn't become too thick as an egg wash. We're gonna brush the sides with egg wash. You want to brush the puff pastry with this egg wash nice and even, but not too much. And once we've done that, we're also going to season the puff pastry on the sides. A little bit of salt. Now, we're going to put the filling over the salmon. There we go. And just spread it nice and evenly all around. Now, we're going to fold it in. There we go. One layer in, next one in. All right, now we have this nice, beautiful parcel. We're going to continue with a bit more egg wash and folding this part up. There we go. All right, fold it up. Nice. Now, you want to have your baking tray already with parchment paper. We're going to turn it upside down and move it onto the baking tray. There we go. Now, I'm going to use a long knife, and what we're going to do is we're just going to gently score Dragging your knife over, not applying any pressure whatsoever, because you do not want to puncture all the way through the pastry. And try to have even spacing in the scoring, because this is going to be how your end result will look like. There we go. Now, further egg wash. This is going to give our pastry this nice, beautiful golden color. You don't want it to pond anywhere on top of your puff pastry, then you're just gonna get like a bit of scrambled eggs on top of your puff pastry, so that's not what you want. Now this baby is ready to hit the oven at 230 degrees Celsius for about 20 minutes. Okay, now on to our Christmas salad. First off, I'm gonna start with a beetroot. I'm gonna cut this nice and chunky. This has already been nicely steamed, but not over steamed, because you still want to maintain that nice sort of texture from a beetroot. When you steam it, it retains all that natural sweetness of the beetroot. That's what I'm going for, because it's going to contribute in terms of taste to the salad. Now, I'm just gonna transfer this onto the plate. The other stuff we're including in the salad, onions. Just open it up onto your plate. Tomatoes, just wedge them. We've got some pomegranate. I think it's time for me to remove my Wellington. Voila. Isn't that a beauty? We're doing Christmas dishes that you pull out of your kitchen, and it's just simply going to impress your guest. Now, we have some apples that I'm going to slice in. It's nice sweet juiciness from the apple. That is again going to contribute to flavor in our salad. Now, we've got some pre-washed salads. We're just going to mount it on top, because what we're going to do is we're just going to toss it all around. So you can see some of that tomatoes, that beetroot, that rocket that's inside. So now you can see how the beetroot has bled out into the onion, so the onions has also absorbed that nice color. So you've got different gradients of red from the beetroot and that nice pink on the onion. So that's what we want. Now we're going to move on to the dressing. You can make the salad ahead of time, keep it in the fridge, but dress it only when you're about to serve. Some grated garlic for some heat, some extra virgin olive oil, some honey. And we're also going to add in some black pepper, salt. Next, we're going to grate in some spice. Okay, we've got nutmeg and cinnamon. We're going to be adding it to flavor or perfume our salad dressing. Fantastic. Lemon juice. Do not throw away the skin. I want to zest some lemon zest in here. Incorporate everything together. There's oil and there's liquid. When you emulsify everything together, you're basically incorporating the oil and the liquid together. And this is what you end up with. Something that looks nice and creamy. Okay, salad's done, dressing's done, our salmon's done. So now it's time to plate. We've got your Salmon Wellington that's served together with a nice Christmas salad and a nice dressing to go with the salad. You have this nice, delicious, fluffy puff pastry, creaminess inside from the filling that we put in, this hint of basil that comes through, and then you take a bit of salad with the beetroot. It just cuts it straight through, refreshes your palate, so you can dig in for more salmon. Now, that's it guys for part 2, Salmon Wellington. Don't forget to share this recipe with your friends and family. Click the subscribe button if you haven't, because you don't want to miss part 3, because we're doing roast beef. I'll see you next time.